Hi, welcome to Verse of the Day. My name is Brandon Hathaway. I'm the preacher here at the Westside Church of Christ in Owensboro, Kentucky. And I want to thank you for joining me as we open up the Bible and study the Word of God. Today we're in Revelation chapter 2. Revelation chapter 2, and I want to start with verse 23, and then we'll go back and look at some other verses, just kind of in each church, I guess, leading up in this chapter. And so verse 23 says, "And I will kill her children with pestilence, and all the churches will know that I am he who searches the minds and hearts, and I will give to each one of you according to your deeds." Here in this verse, it brings out, "And I am he who searches the minds and hearts. He will reward each according to their deeds." And so therefore, as we look at that, we really take time to consider, as he's writing to each individual congregation here, each church, he looks at them and points out what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. He doesn't lump them all together. And the same thing with us all individually, that he looks at each of us and he knows our hearts and our minds. And so if you go back to each church, he brings that point out. In verse 2, it says, "And I know your deeds and your toils and perseverance, and that you cannot bear those who are evil, and that you put to the test to call themselves apostles, and they are not, and found them to be false." It says, "I know." And verse 9, it says, "I know your tribulation and your poverty, but you are rich, and the and the blasphemy by those who say they are Jews and are not, but the synagogues of Satan." In verse 13, I know where you dwell, where Satan's throne is, and you hold fast my name, and did not deny my faith by the Antipas, my witness, my faithful one, who was killed among you, and the Satan dwells." And also verse 19, "I know your deeds, and your love, and your faith, and your service, and perseverance, and that your last deeds are greater than at first." And if you read through the rest of this the entire chapter, he lists the good things, he lists the things that they've fallen in, that they are doing wrong. He knows the good and the bad. He acknowledges both, just as we ought to. We ought to acknowledge one another's, good traits, good deeds, things that we're doing well, and give them a pat on the back, encourage them to keep on doing it. We also call each other out when we fall short to help us to do better. And so God knows. He knows all things, and we will be judged according to our actions. I want to thank you for joining me. I hope everybody has a blessed day. Lord's willing, I'll talk to you later.